All right, everybody, welcome back to the Just Nuke IT podcast. You know what time it is, right? This week, we are strapping in for another apocalyptic probe.
Yep.
But forget those drawn out, like super slow end of the world stories, where it takes like forever for anything to happen.
Right.
This time, we're diving headfirst into the action-packed kind.
Oh, yeah. The ones that hit you right in the gut.
Yeah.
We're talking about those impossible odds.
Oh, yeah.
Those unexpected heroes rising from the ashes. And you know what else? Humanity's last stand when everything goes boom, blockbuster style, baby.
Exactly. We've got these two really, really wild flash fiction stories lined up, and they both paint this picture of worlds on the brink, like teetering on the edge. But what's really cool is how different those edges are. Like the threats themselves and the people facing them is fascinating stuff.
Definitely. I think you're in for a wild ride.
So let's just jump right into the first one. It's called Nowhere to Go But Through. And it throws us into this world that's literally like unraveling at the seams. Imagine this, okay? You've got these dimensional rifts tearing through reality like someone took a pair of scissors to the fabric of existence.
Oof, yeah. Not a pretty picture.
And what crawls out of these rifts, let's just say you wouldn't want to meet any of these creatures in a dark alley or really anywhere.
Yeah, you said it.
But here's the twist. Right smack in the middle of all this chaos, you've got this group of outcast kids, and they've got this bizarre secret. They can actually interact with these rifts. I mean, talk about a heavy burden to bear, right?
It really makes you think. It's like they're the key to this whole mess, and yet they start out as complete outsiders. It's almost like those classic underdog stories, but with an apocalyptic twist.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about how we react in a crisis. Like, who do we turn to? Do we even recognize the potential heroes in the most unexpected places?
Absolutely. And the story doesn't pull any punches. It throws you right into the thick of it with Skye's first encounter with a rift. It happens in her school gym. Can you believe that? She's just trying to get through gym class when suddenly this shimmering tear in reality opens up right there in front of everyone and something absolutely terrifying crawls out.
I can only imagine the chaos.
It's pure terror, like this raw primal fear that somehow forces the rift closed. Not exactly your typical superhero origin story, is it?
It's raw. It's almost accidental. The way her powers emerge is really fascinating. And then you've got the government's reaction. Instead of trying to understand or even learn from what happened, they just slap a quarantine on the whole situation. And his speaks volumes about how fear can drive us to try and control things, even when they might be our only hope. It's a classic knee-jerk reaction, right? Like when confronted with something new and potentially dangerous, we just try to shut it down instead of trying to understand it.
Yeah, it's like that age-old saying, when you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And speaking of nails, we've got Zeke. He's like the polar opposite of Skye. Instead of closing rifts, he blasts them open with this wild, untamed energy. He's almost like a walking natural disaster.
He's definitely a force of nature, like a wild card thrown into an already chaotic situation.
And then there's Mira. She's got this incredible intuition, almost like a sixth sense about the rifts. Like she can sense where they'll appear and what they might do. It's really eerie.
It's almost as if she's tuned into the fabric of reality itself, right? Like she can sense those weak spots, those tears that are about to open.
Exactly. And then we have Benji, who doesn't talk, but seems to have this calming effect on the rifts. Like he can somehow soothe the tears in reality. It's like he's got this unspoken connection to the chaos.
It's such an intriguing dynamic. You've got these three kids, each with their own unique power and personality thrown together by this terrifying phenomenon. It's like a superpowered support group with a healthy dose of apocalyptic dread. It makes you think about how different people cope in a crisis. Some lash out like Zeke, some try to understand like Mira, and then you have those who seek a sense of calm amidst the chaos, like Benji.
Yeah, it's a real mixed bag of personalities for sure. And the world they're trying to save is pretty bleak. The story paints this picture of landscapes all torn up, communities shattered, and these heavily fortified safe zones where suspicion and paranoia are just as common as the rubble. It's your classic post-apocalyptic world, but with this added layer of otherworldly terror, constantly threatening to spill through.
It's like taking all the anxieties we already have about the future, about societal collapse and climate change, and then adding this element of cosmic horror.
Exactly. And the fact that these riftwalkers are feared by the general population adds this whole other level of conflict. It's not just about battling the creatures from the rifts. It's about overcoming this deep-seated prejudice and convincing a terrified world that these they fear might actually be their only hope.
It's a classic case of shooting the messenger, right? It really highlights how quickly fear can turn on those who are different,
Mm-hmm.
especially when society is already teetering on the edge.
And Zeke really embodies that tension. You can just feel his anger simmering beneath the surface. It's like he's one wrong move away from turning his powers on the very people he's trying to protect. But then you've got Skye, who can actually close the rifts. She becomes this reluctant leader, the one always trying to buy them time and diffuse tense situations. And then you've got Mira, who has this almost unshakable belief that they're not just a symptom of this tearing world, but maybe the key to healing it.
It's Mira's perspective that really shifts the narrative,
Yeah.
takes us beyond just surviving, and introduces this possibility of agency, like they can actually do something to fix this mess. It's a small flicker of hope in a world that's gone pretty dark.
And that hope leads them to this abandoned research lab, a creepy place filled with the remnants of experiments gone wrong. And it's there that Skye stumbles upon a terrifying truth. The rifts aren't random. They're actually getting bigger. The barriers between dimensions are weakening.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about containing the breaches anymore. It's about preventing a complete and utter dimensional meltdown. Talk about upping the stakes, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Suddenly it's not just about survival. It's about saving reality as they know it.
It makes Zeke's cynicism seem almost understandable, right? I mean, the odds are astronomical. But Mira's belief that they can actually reverse the process, that's what keeps them going.
Absolutely. And that abandoned lab becomes their last stand. It's fueled by desperation and probably a lot of arguments. They're basically trying to solve a cosmic jigsaw puzzle while being chased by interdimensional monsters.
The story really brings that struggle to life. You can almost feel the fabric of reality straining around them. Zeke's powers become more focused, more controlled. And Benji, he's like the anchor, keeping their volatile powers from spinning out of control. And then they have their first victory. They actually managed to close a rift. It's messy, it's chaotic, but it's a win.
And that win, that single closed rift, it becomes a beacon of hope. It spreads through whispers, coded messages among the survivors. These kids, the riftwalkers who were once feared and ostracized, they start to be seen as this fragile but very real hope. It's amazing how perceptions can change when faced with the possibility of survival, right?
Yeah, it's like all those prejudices, all those fears, they fade away when people realize that these kids might be their only chance.
And there's this great moment where Skye realizes that she's not a freak. She's a part of something much bigger. She's part of this vital, even if unconventional, defense against this terrifying unknown.
It's a powerful message about courage, isn't it? It's not just about facing monsters. It's about confronting the fear and prejudice of your own people.
So we've journeyed through a world on the brink of being torn apart. Now get ready for our second apocalyptic probe. We're heading to the ancient peaks of Machu Picchu in a story called Echoes of Ruin. But this time, the apocalypse isn't about monsters. It's about something all too real: nuclear war. And at the heart of it all is Dr. Cassia Neves, a historian who's been ridiculed for her belief that Machu Picchu holds time portals.
It's a completely different kind of apocalyptic scenario, right? Instead of otherworldly threats, it's about the consequences of our own actions. And Cassia's initial status as an outcast, it adds this layer of potential redemption. Like, sometimes the people who are dismissed as crazy end up being the ones who hold the key to survival.
Exactly. In a world ravaged by nuclear war, someone obsessed with ancient myths seems completely out of touch. But then the bombs fall and suddenly her theories don't seem so crazy anymore.
It's like that saying, right? The line between genius and insanity is measured only by success. And in this case, the success might be the survival of the human race.
What's really chilling is that the apocalypse in this story isn't some sudden cataclysmic event. It's this slow, gradual decline. Resources dwindle, tensions rise, and ultimately, nations resort to nuclear war. It's a frighteningly plausible trajectory.
It's a cautionary tale. A reminder that our actions have consequences and that unchecked consumption can lead to devastating results.
Cassia survives the initial blast because she's at Machu Picchu, which remains untouched by the devastation. It only reinforces her belief that the site holds a deeper significance. So she convinces a ragtag group of survivors to make this perilous journey with her. You've got your typical post-apocalyptic crew, a hardened soldier, a resourceful scavenger, a couple of teenagers who know more about survival than history. It's another unlikely alliance.
They're drawn together by desperation, right? They're looking for something, anything that can offer a glimmer of hope in a world that's gone dark.
Exactly. And when they arrive at Machu Picchu, they discover that Cassia's theories are true. There are time portals hidden beneath the ancient stones, but they're not these mystical, shimmering gateways. They're more like these technological archways. It's this cool blend of ancient mystery and science fiction.
Time travel. You gotta love it. It always throws a wrench into the works, doesn't it?
Of course, the survivors are skeptical at first. I mean, time travel, it sounds like a fantasy when you're just trying to find food and avoid radiation. But their present is a slow, agonizing decline. So these portals, these jumps into the past, they offer a dangerous but tantalizing possibility.
It's a leap of faith, isn't it? Putting your trust in something that seems completely impossible. But when you're facing the end of the world, what other choice do you have?
And the story doesn't shy away from the dangers of time travel. The jumps are chaotic, disorienting. They get thrown into random points in the past, facing all sorts of threats. Prehistoric predators, ancient plagues. It's a wild ride.
Yeah, time travel is never as simple as it seems in the movies, is it? It's like opening a door to the unknown and never knowing what's waiting on the other side.
Definitely. And the soldier, he's got this really interesting arc. He doesn't see the portals as a way to save humanity. He's driven by revenge. He wants to go back and punish those responsible for the devastation. It's a very human reaction, right? When faced with unimaginable loss, you want someone to blame.
But Cassia, she's got a different perspective. She's focused on gathering information, trying to understand the chain of events that led to their downfall. She realizes that acting rashly in the past could have unforeseen consequences.
It's like that classic butterfly effect, right? One small change in the past could ripple outwards and create even bigger problems in the present.
Exactly. So instead of trying to directly intervene, they come up with a new plan. Send a warning back in time. They gather all the data they can about the events that led to the war, the resource wars, the political failures, the scientific discoveries that were weaponized. It's a desperate attempt to change the past with information.
So Cassie uses these ancient relics she finds to barter for an old radio transmitter. And she broadcasts this message, this warning, into the void of the past. It's a long shot. A message in a bottle tossed into the ocean of time.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? This fragile hope launched into the unknown. And it really makes you think about the choices we make in the present and how they can shape the future.
They return to their own time, but something has changed within the group. They have a newfound understanding of the past and maybe a roadmap for a different future. The soldiers' desire for revenge is now directed not just at individuals, but at the systems that led to the war. And the teenagers, they have this grim blueprint of what not to do as they try to rebuild their shattered world.
It's not a happy ending, but it's not entirely hopeless either. They've gained knowledge, they learned from the mistakes of the past, and maybe that's enough to make a difference.
So in these two intense flash fiction stories, we've seen two very different versions of the apocalypse. In Nowhere to Go But Through, it's a world threatened by the unknown, by forces beyond our comprehension. And the potential saviors are these outcast kids with strange powers. It really makes you think about who we turn to in times of crisis and whether we're open to solutions that come from unexpected places.
And in Echoes of Ruin, we see the consequences of our own actions. The apocalypse is a result of greed and short-sightedness, and the survivors are forced to confront the mistakes of the past in order to have any hope of a future.
Both stories offer these really thought-provoking glimpses into potential futures. They remind us that the choices we make today can have a profound impact on the world of tomorrow. What other stories explore these ideas? What parallels can we draw to our own world? Keep those questions brewing and join us next time on the Just Nuke It podcast for another apocalyptic probe into the wild world of end-of-days fiction. Rate and follow the show for more captivating stories.